My God, I hate drugs.
Actor CESAR Montano has resigned as Chief Operating Officer of the Tourism's Promotions Board. Tourism Secretary Berna Romulo Puyat confirmed this to CNN Philippines. Montano's resignation comes amid alleged irregularities in the projects of the Tourism Department's attached agency. Puyat earlier revealed that Montano's projects, particularly the multi-million peso Buhay Karinderya program, did not go through proper bidding. She later ordered the suspension of TPB's projects and asked the Commission on Audit to look into them. When pressed for more details, Tourism Secretary Berna Romulo Puyat said, quote, "I would like to consider this matter closed from my active involvement, but trust that COA will get to the bottom of this episode." Special Assistant to the President Bongo also confirmed to CNN Philippines that Montano sent his resignation letter to President Duterte through his office. In his letter dated May 22, that's tomorrow, Montano said he is tendering his courtesy resignation, quote, "effective immediately." Montano went on to say, quote, "I am truly grateful for the trust and the opportunity you have bestowed upon me to serve our country through the Tourism Promotions Board." Earlier today, presidential spokesman Harry Roque announced another official would resign.
And finally, there will be a resignation. One of those whom the president would have terminated will be resigning tomorrow. We will release his resignation letter tomorrow.
Here is what we know so far about the Tourism Promotion Board's Buhay Karinderya project under CESAR Montano. Buhay Karinderya is a partnership between TPB and marketing agency Mary Lindbert International Incorporated. It offers a glimpse of Filipino culture and traditions and teaches proper food preparation and presentation. This year, TPB agreed to sponsor Buhay Karinderya for a whopping 320 million pesos. Of this amount, the agency already paid Mary Lindbert 80 million pesos, although the project will not be launched until June. TPB Deputy Chief Operating Officer for Marketing and Promotion Sector Maricon Ebron told CNN Philippines on May 18, Puyat's predecessor, resigned Secretary Juan De Teo, was the one who referred the Buhay Karinderya program to the board. Ebron also revealed there are more irregularities in the Tourism Board under CESAR Montano's watch. She said the TPB spent millions of pesos in projects that did not go through proper bidding or were not even approved by the board of directors. But she did say that sponsorship and partnership projects do not go through public bidding. Again, this is breaking news. CNN Philippines is still trying to get more details on the resignation of CESAR Montano as head of the Tourism's Promotions Board. Meantime, President Duterte fires another official, this time a Transportation Assistant Secretary who consulted his sister about a government project. Malacanang says it has long made it clear using the president's family is not tolerated. Our senior correspondent Ina Andolong tells us the president is also warning judges against dealing with someone who's been dropping his granddaughter's name.
It's a line often heard in his speeches. President Rodrigo Duterte stressing he won't allow any family member to get involved in government transactions.
Why do you have to consult my sister? Di ba sinabi ko sa huwag kayong, if it is a relative of mine, consider it denied. Ngayon kung ipasabi mo yan na kinausap ko yung membro, there is no such thing as a first family in this country.
Apparently, that statement reiterated over the weekend pertained to a transportation official who consulted a sister of the president about a government project. The official, Transportation Assistant Secretary Mark Tolentino, was fired.
Ang kasalanan po ni ASEC Tolentino, siya po ay nakipag-usap sa isang kamag-anak ng presidente. Ang order po ng presidente sa lahat ng taong gobyerno, huwag niyo pong kakausapin ang kahit sinong kamag-anak niya na meron pong gustong kahit anong kontrata.
In his announcement, presidential spokesman Harry Roque did not identify the presidential's sister or the government project. But Tolentino was recently involved in an apparent feud with his superiors at the Transportation Department. He accused them of derailing a railway project to favor Chinese contractors, claiming that his revelation had the blessing of the first family.
Kapag kinausap niyo po ang kahit sinong kamag-anak ng presidente, basehan na po yan para kayo ay sibakin, itong pagsibak po kay ASEC Mark Tolentino magsilbing halimbawa po.
Even the president's granddaughter is being used. After announcing Tolentino's firing, Roque went on to warn the judiciary about a fixer who has been using the name of the president's grandchild. The alleged fixer, the current partner of the ex-wife of one of the president's sons. No name mentioned, but among the presidential children, only Paulo has an ex-wife.
Ginagamit po ang pangalan ng apo ng presidente para sa pagpipix ng mga kaso. So mga mahistrado po, mga judges and justices, huwag niyo pong entertainin itong fixer na ito.
Former Davao City Vice Mayor Paulo Duterte's ex-wife is Lovely Somera. The president was just seen with Somera at his granddaughter Isabel's senior high school graduation last week. Ina Andolong, CNN Philippines.
The former Transport Assistant Secretary refuses to comment at length on the president's decision to fire him. In a text message to CNN Philippines, he says, quote, "I'm serving at the pleasure of the president. Whatever his decision, I will respect it. But I will continue to support him and to continue to fight against corruption and to protect the interest of Mindanao and its people." The Transportation Department says it supports the decision to fire Tolentino. The agency statement says in part, quote, "Name-dropping and seeking the assistance of the president, his family, or any other influential individual, either for government projects or for personal gain, will never be tolerated." Presidential son and former Davao City Vice Mayor Paulo Duterte speaks up about the issue that a fixer is using the name of one of his children. In a message sent to a Davao-based journalist, the younger Duterte said his former wife, Lovely Somera, and her partner, a certain J.R. Somera, are using the name of one of his sons in certain transactions. Duterte did not specify these transactions, but he did accuse the Somera couple of also using his family name. He cited this as among the reasons why he resigned in December last year. Several months ago, Duterte complained about Lovely still introducing herself as his wife. Senator Tito Sotto hits the ground running as the new Senate president. After taking his oath just this afternoon, he lays down priority legislation expected to be passed in the next 2 weeks. Our senior correspondent Cecil Ardizabal tells us more.
I, Senator Soto III, having been elected, position of Senate President.
Newly installed Senate President Tito Sotto vows to meet expectations to lead the Senate, saying he won't allow the institution to be degraded and criticized unfairly. He lays down his first order of the day: pass priority bills hopefully in 2 weeks, such as the Bangsamoro Basic Law, Universal Health Care, Occupational Safety Law, and the Public Service Act. With so much on his plate, Sotto is considering cutting down on his commitments, such as his weekly appearances as co-host on the noontime show.
A little stressed because I'm looking at the incoming measures that have to be tackled. Medyo, ano tawag dito, nakakalula.
Anong priority doon?
But siyempre, we'll have to rely on our experience and the help of my colleagues.
Sotto remains with his party, the National People's Coalition, or NPC. His colleagues believe he will keep the balance with senators from the ruling PDP Laban and the Liberal Party-led minority group. He describes how he wants the Senate's relationship with Malacanang to be under his watch.
We will try our best to keep the Senate independent. Supportive but independent.
It was a smooth transition of power to Sotto from former Senate President Coco Pimentel, as everyone had hoped. Pimentel will stay with the majority bloc despite insinuations of betrayal in the move to replace him.
This is an example of a peaceful and willing transfer of power in the Senate.
Just the same, he thanked his colleagues for their support during his term.
I served as Senate President inspired by the words of Justice J.B.L. Reyes and guided by the principles and values of Senator Nene Pimentel. I stepped down knowing that I tried my best to do this.
Pimentel, who headed the chamber for 22 months, is proud of what the institution achieved, while acknowledging some were dissatisfied with his leadership.
We are 17 different personalities in the majority bloc. there will be different reasons talaga na to feel dissatisfied, pero ano na po yun, basta importante, the majority is supportive of the new Senate President.
Pimentel will chair the Trade Committee and possibly two more. Senator Mig Zubiri was elected as the new majority leader and will head the Rules Committee. Cecil Ardizabal, CNN Philippines.
In the meantime, here are some of the top stories from around the world. South Korean President Moon Jae-in is heading to Washington. He's set to meet with U.S. President Donald Trump tomorrow to discuss plans for a planned summit between the U.S. and North Korea. The fate of that summit now hangs in the balance. The New York Times reported Mr. Trump have been pressing his aides and allies about whether he should take the risk of proceeding with the summit. Skepticism is also growing over how willing North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is in giving up his nuclear arsenal. North Korea is set to destroy its nuclear test site this week in full view of international observers and journalists. A survivor of sex abuse tells CNN that the Pope gave him approval for being gay. The man spent 3 days with Pope Francis at the Vatican in April. Juan Carlos Cruz said the Pope commented on the fact that Cruz is gay. According to Cruz, the Pope said, quote, "You know, Juan Carlos, that does not matter. God made you like this. God loves you like this. The Pope loves you like this, and you should love yourself and not worry about what people say," unquote. The Vatican refused to comment. The Pope's words would be a revolutionary change in the teaching of the Catholic Church. The Church considers homosexuality to be, quote, "objectively disordered and contrary to God's law." And Meghan Markle's official biography as Duchess of Sussex is now up on the British royal family's webpage. After Markle and Prince Harry tied the knot, the two are now formally known as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Markle's new About page focuses heavily on her charitable work and social activism. It also features quotes of the new Duchess and a section on her career and education. Its main campus was destroyed and enrollment is way down, but one school in Marawi is rebuilding from the rubble.